Welcome to this yoga practice for better balance and stability. We'll move through a flow that blends classic yoga postures with some intentional elements designed to strengthen your core, challenge your balance in new ways, and build confidence both on and off the mat. It's still a full mind-body experience, just with a few balance-building bonuses layered in. Feel free to find a chair, countertop, or wall for support. Today, I'm using 2 blocks, and we'll get right into the flow. Let's begin in mountain pose with feet about hip distance apart. Roll your shoulders back and down, ear over shoulders, shoulders over hips, and then start to explore by shifting forward towards the front of your feet and then shift back towards your heels. Notice what parts of your body engage as you change your center of gravity, your center of balance. Notice which muscles turn on, front of the body, back of the body. And kind of enjoy this rock back and forth to your range of motion, centering. Then inhale the arms up. Let's have a little fun. Exhale and drop the arms, bend the knees. And let's bounce a bit. So exhaling down, inhaling up. This breath for resilience in the joints, it should feel good. So make it feel wonderful as you inhale and exhale. A few more times. And then bring the hands to heart center and we'll sink into chair. Find your best chair. We're still warming up, so it may not be your deepest chair. But rock a bit towards your heels and inhale. Exhale, come up and roll the arms back. You can bring the hands back to heart center, shoulder height or overhead. But start to breathe with the flow. Inhaling to chair. Exhaling up with the arm sweep. And you might find you get a little deeper every time. A few more breaths. And then let's hold this last one here. Hold and bring your hands to heart center. I'll turn to the side so you can see what I'm doing. But I'm just going to pedal the heels right and left. Work a little through the feet. Chest up, gaze up. And if you'd like, you can ground both heels and sink into chair, or lift both heels into balancing chair, rolling towards the big toe and the center toe. Breathe. One more breath. And sink the heels. Come on back up. And sweep the arms back to heart center. You can shift side to side. And then center. Now for my balance support, I'm going to be using a couple blocks. You can use a chair. Place the chair or the blocks or make sure you're close to a wall. Place those tools near the short end, the top of your mat. And then let's come into a wide stance. So we're getting ready for warrior 2. Turn the right toe out, the right toes. The left toes are facing the wide end of the mat. And then sink into warrior 2. Think about keeping the chest forward, the hips open, and keep your head over your heart, heart over hips. And if you look down at your big toe, can you still see your big toe? Let's reach the arms up and out, and then just sink and enjoy this for just a breath. Drag the heels towards center without moving them to get that lift through your very center. Looking over the right hand, then I'm going to straighten the legs, lift the left hip a bit, and then come into triangle pose. My right hip tucks under gently, so I'm all in one plane. As I reach up, you can support on your thigh and breathe. Just one more breath here. Lengthening. Do you feel the length through the hip? And then come back to center. I'll release my arms and just get ready for warrior 1. So for warrior 1, I'm turning my toes at a diagonal, that back foot, heel back, and then I'm going to find the best position for my lunge here. My heel's grounded, I'm pushing through the pinky toe blade of the foot, and you can come to heart center, you can come to goal post, arms overhead, but just find a great warrior one, relax your neck, and look up the wall, maybe 2/3 of the way, opening the chest and the back hip. Breathe. And then releasing the arms, lift the back heel. And we're going to take a little half step forward. So as we work into balancing warrior, the next pose in our flow, I'm going to have you sink back to, weight back to the back leg, and then shift and push off the floor. So as you practice a few times with that shift, push, you're accelerating, and then you have to decelerate and stop yourself from tumbling over. So keep the front knee a little bent as you shift. One more time. Push, hold, reach through the heel, chest up. Your hands can be next to your hips. They can be next to your sides, on your chair, or I'm going to use the blocks for balance support. If you're using blocks with me, just make sure you're not putting weight into the blocks. They're just there to support your balance, not to put weight into. Breathe, lengthen your neck, your back, and then let's gracefully sink back to warrior two. So push back and come to warrior two. That's it. Straighten and find triangle. Breathe, inhale into warrior one. So a little shift of the hip. And then lift the back heel and push yourself up into balancing warrior. Try that one more time. So graceful. That's it. Warrior one. And then I'm going to push forward, a mighty push. I'm going to spend just a moment here. It's okay to keep the leg low. Whatever you're doing, reach through the heel and try to level out your hips just a bit. Nod your head. There's no tension in your jaw. And then we'll sink back to warrior two one more time. And let's focus on triangle. So a hand can come behind your back. Perfect this triangle pose. And we're going to bring our gaze point up to the top hand. Feel the length. Feel the core turn on. Now, if you feel secure here, you're trying to turn on your inner thighs, push your heels towards each other. Look down at the hand on towards the mat or your heel. And then look up. Let's do that one more time. So we're using a gaze point change. Then come back up, bend the knee first. Come back up to warrior two. Release the arms. And then center yourself, maybe a little narrower stance. Shoulders back and down as we transition into the next flow, into a squat, a wide squat. Arms can be at the side, they can be straight, they can be in front. But sink into this nice squat. My toes are turned out so my knees feel great. My hips are a little back. Now let's practice balance in this plane here. I'm going to push off and balance. So on the right again, we'll push off, sink, and then find the point where you're balanced, you're catching yourself. Push. That's it. Let's try it one more time. And then we'll push and find tree pose here. So tree, 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 wherever tree feels good to you. And breathe. You can reach the hands up. You can even ground this right foot, lengthening the left hip, but look up at your hands. Now, if that doesn't feel great, use the wall, use your chair. Look down at the floor. Try that one more time. I'm nodding up and down. And then open the arms and find your tree again, opening the hip. Releasing the arms, You can give this opposite arm, so my right arm, I'm standing on my left, I'm going to give it a little rub or a little tap to help bring some sensory information into the brain that helps stabilize that standing leg. So give it a little rub, give it a little tap. And you might find better balance on the left leg as you rub or give some sensory input to the right side of the body. All right, let's push off into tree. One more time. And then a little change here. Find your tree, hands at heart center. Just reach this right hand up at a diagonal and then come back to center. If you'd like, I'm going to level down a little bit, bring my toe to the mat, and then I'm going to look up at a diagonal and come back to center. Whew. Make sure you feel safe but challenged. And then step wide again. You can rotate your hips, take some tension out of your shoulders and your back, and then find your deep squat or your wide squat again. Shoulders down, head back. All right, let's start to push off left. And this first one is kind of an experiment. How hard do you have to push, and what muscles do you have to use to catch yourself? Bracing your core or finding your root lock can be really helpful. Now try to balance, push and balance. It may be easier on one side than the other. And we're going to look for tree this time. Push and find tree. Did you find it? Now it's really easy to sink into the hips, so stay nice and tall. And it's okay to stay low. So find a place where you feel safe, but you definitely feel challenged. Find your focal point that's not moving. And then you can look up at the hands, look down at the floor. Look up at the hands and down at the floor. One more time. Do you feel tall? Do you feel balanced? Now center your gaze and open your arms, and you can play with this tree, wherever tree may find you. Okay, hands back to center. And let's open out. Push off. Let's do that one more time. I'm gonna open out, find my tree. Easy breath. And then give yourself a little bit of sensory information. Now I'm standing on my right, so I'm gonna rub my left arm. And if that doesn't feel like it's steadying you at all, try little taps or try your kind of a little scratching fingertips. Feels good. And then find balance again. Did that improve your balance at all? Reach that left hand up and then bring it back down. Now I'm going to look at a diagonal and back down. Let's do that one more time. Hold on as much as you need. And then open your stance and rotate through the hips. So I know we're using a lot of different ways to really give you some sensory input through your eyes, your inner ears, your somatosensory system, those mechanoreceptors, and also just some kinesthetic information. So now we're going to do this same flow we did in the beginning on the other side. So open your stance wide, find neutral spine, shoulders back and down, find your posture again, find your breath and settle in. So ground and anchor. I'll turn my left toes out and find warrior two. What length do you need for a great warrior two? Your belly button is aimed towards the wide side of the mat, your gaze. You're feeling strong with your head back, and you're just gonna enjoy warrior two for a moment. And feeling that push towards center will give you a nice strength and lift through the center of your body. Looking over the left hand. Just one more breath here. Then we'll transition into triangle. Now your triangle may be more narrow than mine, that's okay. But let's lift the hip. I almost said sink, but lift the hip a bit if you have that mobility there. Tuck the left hip under gently so it's like you are a pane of glass. Your hips aren't sinking back. And then find triangle. Just one more breath here. Do you feel your inner thigh, your hip? Transition through warrior two, and then we're going to come to warrior one. So turn that back toes in. The heel is out, so your foot's at an angle. And then you'll shift your hips as much as possible towards the front of the mat and find the best warrior one for you today. Sinking knee over heel, chest up. There's a lot of great options for your arms. Find the one that suits you best. Lengthening through the entire front of your body. One more breath. Your jaw is not clenched. Lift the back heel and then take that half a step forward. So we're going to practice on this side. My heel is up, sinking the weight back and then pushing off. That's it. So one side may work a little better than the other side, and that's okay. Push and reach through the heel. That's it. So find exactly how much energy you have to put into the push and how much energy you have to put into the hold. And then with your chair, your wall, your countertop, or maybe you're using blocks as well, find balancing warriors. Your standing knee is slightly bent. You're going to reach through the heel. Try to get the hips as parallel to the floor as possible. And then enjoy your momentary warrior three, really lengthening through the body. So the support allows you to lengthen through the hip and find your core. And then let's gracefully shift back to warrior two. Float, warrior two, triangle. Transition through warrior two to warrior one. And then push off to warrior three. So push off gracefully. Your standing legs a little bent. Let's go through that flow one more time. Warrior two. Adjust as much as you need to triangle. To warrior one. And then push off, back heel comes up, push off, and spend just a moment in warrior three. Give yourself the time to really lengthen your body and pushing into the chair or the block. Find that core strength and length. Nod your head yes. Take a big breath. And then we'll come back to warrior two. Float down. And let's settle in to triangle. So we're going to use our gaze point, tucking the hip under, find a beautiful triangle, looking up at this top hand, then look down at the bottom. Inner thighs are engaged. You're feeling your root lock. As you change your gaze point, I know this is a balance pose. Definitely. Bend the knee and come back up slowly. And then release. Heel to toe in. We're going to spend our last few moments on the mat. So I'm just going to put my blocks out of the way. And then you can come down to the mat to hands and knees, however it feels good to you. But let's come onto hands and knees. And then we'll move into cat-cow. So wrists right under your shoulders. You can use fists for wrists if you like, if you're taking care of your wrists or hands. And then just round your back, a little posterior pelvic tilt, tuck your tailbone under and look at your belly button. And then come to cow. So find some ease in your back as you come back and forth into cat and cow. Take your time. Neutral spine and shift back into child's pose. Now you can do a little bent knee. You can use a block under your head. I mean a wide bent knee. Of course your knees are bent. If this doesn't feel good, you can always roll onto your back. Now Make sure your head is resting on something, whether it's your block, your hands, or the mat. But take 2 breaths here. And then come back up to a grounded plank. So reach those arms way overhead. And if your knees are out, put them back in alignment under your hips. And we're going to come to a plank and then all the way down to the mat. Slowly shift your hips side to side and then elbows underneath the shoulders for Sphinx. If this feels like too much, just bring the elbows forward a bit or extend the arms and reach them forward. Let's just take a breath here. Center your hips, press your feet gently into the floor so that you can get a really nice extension, round, arch in the back, not just dumping tension in your lower back. And then let's come back to the mat. Hands replace your elbows underneath the shoulders. Tuck your toes. And then if you'd like, you can come to plank on the knees, strong. Push up to plank. That's it. If you'd like, you can lift up into plank. Down on the knees, and then chest to the mat. Slow. Sphinx. Grounded plank. Plank is an option. Knees down. Sink to the mat. We'll do through this series. Elbows are pointed in. One more time towards your rib cage. That's it. So we're working on a little bit of core integration here. Don't worry, we're almost done. Exhale, slowly come down. You can even take 2 or 3 breaths to get there if you'd like. And then just rock hips side to side. I'm staying very low. And then back to hands and knees. A little cat-cow would feel good, or maybe some child's pose for a moment. As we come into a seated position. I'm going to take my right shin almost parallel with the mat, but not quite. And then my left shin behind. Chest up. Exhale and hinge forward. Notice your hips open. We're only here for another breath, but you can take more time than that if you'd like. And then walk back up. Switch. You might feel one hip more than the other. Come on back up. And then give your knees a little hug, a little release. And we'll end in a seated position however you're comfortable. So find a comfortable position. Find the center of your hips, your sitting bones, chest up. Hands to heart center. Let's inhale the arms up. Exhale, right back to heart center. One more time. Inhale and exhale. Thank you for doing yoga with me today. Thanks for moving with me today. This is your time to reconnect with strength, balance, and ease. You can come back to this flow 2 to 3 times each week or anytime you need a reset. I'll be right here when you're ready. And until I see you again, stay strong, stay balanced, and find joy in movement.